What's up, everybody? This is the voice of YouTube's very own Shadow Jog here, and this Fang discussion is actually one I've been wanting to do for a little bit. I've had the idea of it, and that is, of course, explain to you how I do my Shadow voice, what I've noticed about all three Shadow voice actors, and the one thing actually people get wrong. You would be surprised by that there are a lot of people on YouTube that does Shadow, and actually people I know that try doing Shadow, they get this characteristic wrong with him. And let me get to um, you know, how my shadow is. My shadow is more like this. I'm Shadow, the ultimate life form. My shadow is more modeled after Jason Griffith, which I think is cool because everyone knows by now Jason Griffith is my favorite Sonic the Shadow. Even though that Ryan Drummond and David Humphrey is pretty damn close, it's like tiny, like I like Jason Griffith a split more than Ryan Drummond and David Humphrey. I just like how Jason Griffith has done Sonic and Shadow, especially Shadow. They should have kept him on Shadow. If they wanted to replace him as Sonic, fine, but keep him as Shadow. No one complained about his Shadow voice. It was the Sonic that people didn't like. His Shadow was perfect. But of course, eventually people actually warmed up to Sonic, and it's kind of sad that Sonic Unleashed, which was one of his more best performances as Sonic, and I'm saying this as how everyone feels. I've always liked him, even in Sonic X, even when the voice wasn't that good. Um, but I have always liked Jason Griffith as Sonic the Shadow. And I do wish eventually they bring him back, or bring Ryan Drummond and David Humphrey back. But, like I said, my shadow's more in the ballpark of Jason Griffith. But the one thing I noticed about all three Shadow voice actors, David Humphrey, Jason Griffith, and Kirk Thornton, and I know that there's the Japanese Shadow. I forgot what he sounds like, actually. I gotta go find voice clips. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does this too. Is that they're pretty soft spoken, right? And it could be because of the recording, but you can clearly hear it because Ryan Drummond and Jason Griffith and Roger Craig Smith Sonic is really like positive and happy go lucky. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog, Knight of the Wind, the Blue Blur, the fastest thing alive. It's all three of them have their voices kind of like this when they do Shadow, very soft spoken. Even though that when they do their Shadow voice, there's this intensity to it, but it's like I said, it's soft spoken, and that is something that a lot of people get wrong. There is a YouTuber, and I'm not going to mention names. I'm going to say he is pretty big. He is not as big as Shadow 759, but he's pretty big. And I personally don't like his Shadow voice. He makes him sound like a smoker. He makes him sound really gruff sounding, and I don't like that. Even when I had a problem with Kirk Thorne's Shadow voice, it wasn't like a smoker voice. And I don't mean to offend anyone that did smoke cigarettes and now quit. I'm just saying in general, it sounds like someone that smoked cigarettes all their life and now like their voice is super raspy. And I've seen other people on YouTube that can do Shadow pretty well. There's this dude on here that redid a scene from Sonic Boom, and his Shadow voice is different, but I love it. It fits the character. He keeps him soft spoken, even though that there's this intensity to it, which is the point. You have to make Shadow soft spoken, but also intense. And it's hard to do sometimes. Because at first, when I did, my Shadow in my Sonic Generations Let's Play, I just lowered my voice a bit, and I soft spoken, but then, a YouTuber known as CL Dark Rose, who you all know her, who used to do the Chi Chi channel. She told me to deepen my voice, and I did. And naturally, we are here to this now, and it's been like this ever since. Voicing Shadow has been fun for me on YouTube. It's been amazing to do his voice. It's been amazing to get so deep in his character that I now understand him a lot more than what I did. Even Sonic 2. But Shadow to me is a lot more funner because with characters like Shadow, like characters like Shadow, Raven Bronwyn, Blake, Sasuke, those more anti-hero type characters, those more, I guess you can call them edgy characters, even though that they're not really edgy. In my opinion, they're not. There's more to them that meets the eye, even though that people can kind of label them as assholes or a bad mother or a coward for running away from when I'm screwing up my words here, but running away from her friend, and even things like this too. Shadow is, like I said, that's something that people get wrong. He's supposed to be soft-spoken. So, the advice I could give people that want to voice Shadow, listen to all three Shadow voice actors, pay close attention to what each of them do, and try to see if your voice can fit any of them or close to them, or maybe come up with your own voice like this one dude did. And because the things about Shadow is that the two things you need to understand is that make him soft-spoken, but also give him this intense voice. Don't make him sound too gruff without it sounding soft-spoken. You have to find a balance of soft-spoken and intensity. Because even when Shadow shouts, "Chaos Blast!", there's still a little bit of that soft-spokenness to his voice. Even like I said, and if you notice, I keep saying this, there's this intensity to it. You have to find a balance, and it's really hard. So anyways, I hope this helps anyone that's trying to voice Shadow. If you all have any questions, just comment below and I'll answer them. And yeah, I hope you all have a good week, and I'll be seeing you all later.